All right, and we are live, and I'm here with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
Have you heard of Jesus?
Indeed. And hang on a second. Okay, so making sure that was going out okay on the old YouTubes. So we got some stuff we need to talk about tonight. We got some more things we're gonna file under the Bechtloff was right category. But first, I have a little special. I don't know, what do you want to call this? Announcement? No, message, I suppose is better. And I'm sure one of you will send it to him, or he's maybe listening now. Davis, I know you're running gay ops on your Discord. I know there's people on there, people. I know what looks like your fucking sock account is on there talking about, oh, I'm going to get Bechtloff deplatformed. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And Hadrian's all like, yeah, go get Bechtloff. He messed with me the most. And Davis, just knock it off, okay? It's done. You and your idiot hellbound friends, okay, it's done. We're done, all right? I'm basically done with it, all right? So if you just keep your fucking head down, then it's over. Okay, idiot? Okay, I got one more video coming. I got a little parody song that was already in the works, and it's too good to not put up. Then the topic's done. All right? Then it's done. So just keep it, because I got something more important to move on to here, which we're going to get to here in a minute. So I've got something else has caught my attention. So keep your head down. Medicare's sniffing around your dumb ass right now. You know that, right? On his morning show the other day, he's like, anybody got any Davis Arini videos? I feel like watching some cringy gay shit. Thankfully, your YouTube channel's down. But the videos are still out there, buddy. Okay, so yeah, keep acting a fool. Just walk away, Davis. Just walk away. All right. Just take the L, okay? Like I get you're not one of us degenerate man-child gamers. I know, because you don't play Skinner box games. You just play Minecraft and fucking Civ 5. But those of us that do play video games, one of the things we learn, and guys who play sports learn this too, sometimes you just gotta take the L, okay? Move the fuck on. So just keep your head down, dipshit. All right, I'm about done with you. And you keep acting a fool, and watch you get the Hurricane Medicare blowing into your shores. Now I'm good either way, buddy. Just consider this a little Christian charity. All right. I'm ready to move on to other topics, but hey, the audience was having a blast with it. We can stay on this topic if you want. I just got some other important shit I want to focus on here. So just walk away, buddy. You can't even run Discord ops without immediately it fucking leaking. Throw the screen caps up on here if I wanted to, okay? Because you got no fucking OPSEC. But that's up to you, buddy. All right? I'm about done with you. So whether or not this continues at this point is up to you. Now, let's move on to some important shit. Once again, filed under the Bechtloff was right. Let me find that fucking article here real quick. The one I'm thinking of. Chicago Sun-Times.
Well, I found a possible new sound clip for our soundboard.
Okay.
Tell me what you gonna do. Act a fool. Somebody.
I loved Ludacris back in the day, man. That was good stuff. Okay, let's. I'm gonna try and find it. I got it on my phone, but let's try and find it.
Oh, the Chicago Sun-Time article?
Yeah. Can you just throw it in the chat if you have it?
Here it is.
Yeah, okay. So, before we get into this article, let's have a little story time, folks, because I don't know how long each of you have been following me. Pardon me, I'm snorting like DSP over here. A few years ago, I was, I don't even think I was doing YouTube at the time. I was just doing a blog, but the local church that I was involved in, it basically got absorbed into this network of churches called Harvest Bible. And I'm giving you the really short Cliff Notes versions here of events. But basically, it gets absorbed into this Harvest Bible conglomerate of churches, network of mega churches, board collective of mega churches, and things go really, really bad. And we end up with what I can only describe as a spirit of authoritarianism and legalism that I would say stems directly from Harvest Bible and its leader, James MacDonald. James MacDonald, I mean, you may not have heard the name, but he's actually a bigger deal than you know. He's one of the major forces in, I don't know, the church in America, conservative Protestantism in America, evangelicalism in America. He's a major, major force. What we used to call the religious right back, if you're an OG like me, back in the 80s and 90s. And basically what would happen is Harvest Bible would go around the country. It would find small, unaffiliated, non-denominational evangelicals kind of churches and, say, hey, would you like to be our new Harvest? Like, an example, New Song here in Lancaster, New Song Church became Harvest Lancaster, that sort of thing. I'd listened to James MacDonald on his radio show, Walking the Word, for a while. And I never really liked him, but I didn't think he was that bad. But when my church got involved in Harvest, immediately there were elders who quit, who they were having none of it. No, this is unacceptable. This is not good. I'm out of here. Elders that had founded the church. I saw a tone shift to more authoritarianism, more legalism, just devoid of grace. I, of course, you all may have noticed, not a fan of that sort of authoritarianism, legalism. Not a fan of somebody wanting to swing their dick around and tell everyone how they're in charge. Doesn't sit well with me. So you can imagine I butted heads and I ended up resigning from that church, my membership from that church. I wrote about it on my blog. There's a video even I had Undertow do the narration of the blog post. James MacDonald killed my church. I cringe at the stuff I wrote years ago too. It's weird. Like, you get better at doing these kind of things and you just cringe at your old shit. And just to give you an example of the kind of people we're dealing with here, when I had that article, I tweeted it out back when I had just the Bechtloff Twitter, and I added James MacDonald because, I was still naive enough to think, well, don't say something about a man you wouldn't say to his face. Well, he responded by blocking me immediately. But the weird thing is, like, a while later, his son, Luke MacDonald, who's a associate pastor at that church, started following me on Twitter. And I didn't even know who Luke MacDonald was, but then I see his bio, I see, who he is. And I start messaging him. I'm like, did you want to talk or something? I thought maybe they were reaching out to me. He ignored me until finally he's like, LMAO, why are you messaging me? When he's following me on Twitter. And then finally I emailed him a few times and like, do you want to come on the show or something? And he'd like agree to it, but then he'd stop returning my emails for a while or something. It was really weird behavior. So I put that stuff out there and I kind of just moved on. I moved on from that topic. Actually, I want to set the stage again a little bit more with him. Again, really, in his radio teaching, you see a lot of emphasis on Don't question your leadership. Submit to your leadership. Don't question your church leadership. Like I said, very authoritarian. You know, you'd swear he was Catholic. I know, guys. I had to take a little jab at you guys. But anyways, but then just a lot of dumb shit he'd say. Like a lot of really, really dumb shit. Like he came to one time. Luke, you got some background noise there. Mute if you're not talking, please. It's just enough to throw me off. But like at one point he said something along the lines of he was reading some passage where it says describes the devil as a wolf looking for a sheep to devour, something like that, right? He goes off on this tangent about how like I guess the North American timber wolf, like in the Northwest, it was put on the endangered species list, you know, because their numbers were super, super low. And he goes off on this tangent about how it's wrong to try and preserve this species because the Bible describes wolves as evil. Which is just insanely stupid. You know, I mean, there is actual command to, you know, stewardship of the environment. You know, preserving endangered species is arguably, a command upon Christians. You know, I don't know what James makes of lions, considering both the devil and God are described as lions. So I don't know what he makes of them, but that's the sort of dumb shit that he would say. And again, hyper authoritarianism. And when I looked into him, I heard all sorts of rumors about what an absolute shitbag he is behind the scenes. And again, I saw the spirit come into my church. There's an actual website called the elephantsdebt.com, DEBT, the elephant's debt. That chronicled the behind the scenes stuff from former members. And after a while, and this is key, we're going to get to this, but after a while, it actually stopped updating for a while because they had that, basically they had like Harvest supporters guilt trip them with the, don't have disunity and don't speak ill of a brother and all this other stuff. And deference to the leadership and all this other stuff that allows problems to fester in the church. Okay. You know, I once knew a man who liked to hide, you know, a former friend of mine liked to hide behind the guise of unity and loyalty to try and cover what a snake he was. Always. Here's a little pro tip for me to you folks. The people that want power the most are often the least fit to wield it. And the people who scream for and demand loyalty the most are often the least deserving of it. But anyways, like I said, I looked into it and there was all sorts of shady shit just under the surface, but just the nature of Christendom, you know, everyone wants to gloss over it. Nobody wants to gossip. And so this shit just festers. So I said my piece and I moved on from the topic. Well, the past couple weeks, I had noticed that on my humble, relatively small channel, these old videos that didn't have many views were suddenly getting more views and comments out of nowhere. And a few of them were, "Oh, don't judge," or, you know, you're being unkind to a believer. But a lot of them were like, "Yeah, these people are fucked up." Now, obviously, they said that in much more polite terms than I put it. Not many Christians have the mouth I do. But I'm like, what's going on? Why are these videos getting so much traction all of a sudden? Well, I come to find out why. There was another scandal brewing. So James McDonald, being centered out of Chicago, he became friends with a radio DJ known as Mancow. You may be familiar with Mancow in the morning. He was on Fox News a lot. He had a show on Fox News for a while. Somewhat right-wing, right-of-center kind of guy, but a little bit shock jock kind of thing, you know. Well, he developed a friendship with James McDonald, which I'm just learning here recently, just these past couple of days, and apparently was baptized in James McDonald's church and really loved and respected this man until he came to find out just what this guy is. Mancow played a recording of James McDonald saying some shit with when the mic was hot. And I'm still looking for the actual recording. But this is, we're going to go to the Chicago Times article, okay? By the way, James McDonald has actually been forced out of Harvest Bible. It's blown up that much here in the last couple of days. Chicago Sun-Times, Mancow bites minister. Radio host brings down Harvest Bible founder. The article goes, when disc jockeys and pastors clash, it's usually the radio personality who gets the worst of it, facing outraged listeners, fleeing advertisers, and summary firings from nervous station management. But after the self-described wild man of Chicago radio, Mancow Mueller, last month on WLSAM 890, took issue with his former spiritual guide, James McDonald, founder of Harvest Bible, it was the senior pastor of the megachurch who lost his job. Officials of the 12,000-member church with 7 locations in the Chicago area announced with great sadness on Wednesday. McDonald had said he was taking an indefinite sabbatical from all preaching and leadership in mid-January. I am grieved that the people I love have been hurt by me in ways they felt they could not express to me directly and have not been able to resolve, he said in a statement. I am upset that I was duped by a con man, said Mueller, who wrote a 2,200-word condemnation in the Daily Herald at the end of January against the man who baptized him in the River Jordan. He said how once McDonald, quote, taught me forgiveness, trust, being authentic, and taking a stand for what's right, unquote, but that Mueller later came to see, quote, an environment of thievery and a smarmy actor out front and a guy who was brutal to everyone he thought was subservient, unquote. On Tuesday, Mueller referred to a largely conservative, largely Republican church as, quote, the cult that's called Harvest, unquote, on his radio show, demanding it refund money to the faithful and encouraging listeners to join a class action lawsuit he said he was starting. What has McDonald actually done to cause him to be let go? Harvest Bible was vague in explaining why McDonald was terminated, saying only that he was fired for engaging in conduct elders believed is contrary and harmful to the best interests of the church. It did, however, invite any curious to hear, quote, a more detailed communication regarding next steps, unquote, to attend to attend services Sunday, and of course to continue generously uphold the church. The cracks in McDonald's foundation began due to an effort of a blog called The Elephant's Debt, began by former church members Ryan Mahoney and Scott Bryant, who questioned the financial stability of the church and accused McDonald of putting Harvest Bible $44 million in debt. The Elephant's Debt released a statement on the firing. 7 years ago, we began to publicly air just a few stories from the elders and pastors that had begun to share with us in private. It begins. We publish accounts and documents about finances, power, and control as a means of pointing to the much deeper issues that were swirling around McDonald and Harvest. At the end of 2017, we felt that we had said all we could to warn people of Harvest and its toxic scenario. Again, that's when they sort of got guilt tripped into quitting. But they actually picked up here recently because somebody else hopped onto that site. A defamation lawsuit by the church against the website, and Julie Roars, a reporter for the biweekly Christian World magazine who investigated Harvest, was dropped last month. The Elephant Debt praised Mueller, saying he had, quote, displayed a courage that is often profoundly lacking in evangelical community, unquote, noting that he, quote, took a risk by playing a toxic hot mic audio of James McDonald. That refers to a tape that Mueller played on air Tuesday, noting it is, a, quote, a guy who sounds like James McDonald, unquote, and suggesting it was made in the studio of McDonald's own radio program, supposedly capturing the pastor. And by the way, folks, pay attention because we're about to get to the good part. Good in quotation marks. Supposedly capturing the pastor responding angrily to Christianity Today's podcast, asking if it were biblical for Christians to sue other Christians, and decided it probably isn't. The man identified as perhaps McDonald is heard calling out one editor a certifiable Okay, this is bleeped out, but it's P and then dashes K. Punk? Did we bleep out punk? Okay, well, a certifiable punk, I guess. I don't know. And hinting that former CEO Harold Smith be brought down by uploading child pornography to his computer. I want to repeat that, folks. So now I haven't gotten a hold of this audio myself. Supposedly Mancow played it on the air. I'm having my boy Luke hunt for it, and I'm hunting for it myself. And hopefully we'll have it for you Saturday. But according to this article, the audio says that James McDonald, was so mad. Okay, so let's back this up. There's a website called The Elephant's Den that criticized James McDonald and Harvest Bible. James McDonald is suing that website. So a podcast on Christianity Today was discussing whether or not it's biblical for Christians to sue one another, and they decided it wasn't. This pissed off James McDonald so much that he is apparently on a hot mic calling the person a certifiable punk, I guess, and then suggesting that he be brought down by uploading child porn to his computer. In other words, framing him of having child porn. Did you catch that? Did you catch those shenanigans? Now, I caught a lot of shit for going after this guy when I did. Lost friendships. I lost a lot. It needed to be done. I stand by it, and I'm vindicated. I stand vindicated today. Let's continue the article. After McDonald was fired, Mueller tweeted that the truth about McDonald is, quote, much uglier than anyone will thankfully ever know, unquote, to his 44,000 followers. The blog's organizers credited the radio host with prompting Harvest Bible to action. We got the ball rolling, and then Mancow was instrumental in the process, said Mahoney, who was a teacher at Harvest Bible. Without him, I don't think the elders would have had the courage to terminate James McDonald. He brought McDonald down. So, yeah. I got a lot of shit for going after this guy. Going after the authoritarian spirit, the legalistic spirit. You know, it's just everything that, in my opinion, is wrong with Christianity. And this fall behind the leader, this cry for unity and loyalty and all this other shit. No. Loyalty is earned. It's not demanded. So Luke and I are going to be doing some digging into this, and we're hopefully going to be able to bring you more on this Saturday.
I might have found it, but I can't confirm it just yet.
And I'm thinking I'm going to do a special podcast just on this subject, where I'm going to be a good boy and watch what I say and that sort of stuff, because we're going to call it the James McDonald stream or something along those lines, and that's going to bring a lot of not regular listeners to the table, who are searching for this topic. Sorry, folks. This is actually a little, I guess, emotional to sound faggy about it. This isn't the typical, like, we're going to have a good time and laugh kind of locale like we've been enjoying for the past few days. Like, no, fuck this guy. Seriously, fuck this guy. what was, I can't remember. I'd have to maybe go through my blog or something, but there was something like a whole sermons about like how you should never question your church leadership and always submit to your church leadership and all this other stuff. It just never sat right with me. And I just saw the mood in my church. When my church got involved in Harvest, things changed very, very quickly there. And I kind of found I wasn't like going anymore. Like I would still go to a small group, but I just wasn't going to the Sunday services anymore. And I was, less and less involved. And at the time I told myself, like, I'm just tired, because I was working 6 days a week at the time. At the time I was working a full, a full day, full 40-hour week. And then I was doing I was doing that comic stand with my buddies on, at the flea market on Saturdays. So, I was tired. I mean, I did want to sleep in Sundays. I did want to just not do much on Sundays and just relax. But it wasn't just that. I didn't want to go anymore. And I reached a point where I realized I had gone literally a few months without attending a single Sunday service. And I finally I emailed the pastor and I said, like, look, I apologize. I haven't been on going anymore. And I had him take my name off I was on the rotation to do like run the PowerPoint presentation for the pastor, the little slideshow he's got going on. And I kind of had him take my name off that. And I told him, I'm just so busy. I can't do it. But really, I just didn't want to anymore. I was kind of like, no, you need to get back involved in your church. So I emailed him, and he gives me this thing about, oh, I was just about to email you. Oh, okay. And he's like, we need to talk. And I figured he just wanted to grill me about not going. And I'm like, okay, about what? Well, he calls me in there and he's just going through like all sorts of things on my blog. Like he had dug through my blog and my Facebook page and found every like mild criticism of our church he could possibly find, and was just throwing it in my face. And I just, like, give you an example. The church I attended at the time, they did like a Halloween thing where, like, they let trick-or-treaters come into the church and they gave them candy and little Bible tracts or whatever, that kind of thing. And on my Facebook page, I had mentioned that I because I always like to volunteer for that. And I was like, I was really happy that our church did a Halloween thing, because I loves me some Halloween. But I had mentioned somewhere on my Facebook page, I was like, it's kind of lame that they called it something gay, like Fall Fest or something like that. And I said, it's kind of lame they don't call it Halloween, though. I mean, a lot of these are the same people that would get upset if you said Happy Holidays instead of Merry Christmas, but they're not going to say Happy Halloween when they hand out candy to a trick-or-treater. That's a little hypocritical, isn't it? That sort of mild criticism is the stuff they dig through, like, and just throw in my face and like, are you with us or against us? This sort of thing. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Richard, okay, so Richard Bechtloff has he apparently has access to all of Irini's videos, and he is saying which ones are the cringy ones that he should send to Medicare. I don't know, man. I off the top of my head, I couldn't really tell you. I don't know. He took it down a long time ago, but I know his review of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is where he screams the N-word 47,000 times. But I don't know, man. I think you're on my Discord, man. Ask people there. Maybe they'll be able to tell you. I couldn't tell you which ones are. Send the whole fucking catalog to him if you want. Uh, um, people are saying the sword one apparently. So yeah, there you go. Lust in the Time of Heartache. Lust in the Time of Heartache is actually still up on YouTube somewhere. Some other thing has it. He says permission to use the everyone tag. Yeah, go ahead, and mention you're doing it with my blessing this time. I don't know. Does that count as a gay op? Are we running a gay op here? I don't think so.
Well, it's live, so I'm not sure if it counts.
I'm sure Medicare should probably already moved on though, but hey, send them the whole thing. I don't care. I'm sort of moved on to this topic now. Somebody says might be a bi-op. Yeah. Yeah, it's not quite a gay op. All right, so I'm getting messages, people wanting to call in. Fuck it, I'll bring callers in. I guess Richard can hop in too if he wants to ask the audience directly or whatever. So yeah, if you want to call in, go ahead and message me on the Skype there. The Bechtloff, you know where to find me on the Skype there. And I'll bring you in. Forney's still up. If Forney wants to come on a stream. Oh, Lordy. So yeah, we'll be digging into this Harvest Bible thing because.
Hey, Bill, I need to come on to comment on the whole Harvest Bible thing.
Sure. Yeah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much. What do you say? I don't have much experience with Harvest Bible personally, but I've had similar experiences with other denominations within the evangelical world. Like, for example, it's oftentimes denominations try to get you to conform to all of their theological points, or else you're not allowed to become a member or even take communion. And
well, I'm a big fan of the small local churches myself. I don't like the idea of. I'm just a big fan of decentralized power in general, and early on, the church I was a member of, it actually split off from another church in the county, and they sort of had the philosophy that churches should grow like amoebas, not to be confused with a Nintendo toy. I'm talking about the single-celled organism. Get to a certain size and split in two. Split off from each other and divide, and multiply that way.
Yeah. I think
I don't think that I don't think that a church should have what's it the Harvest Bible in Chicago alone it said something like 12,000 members. No,
yeah,
a pastor should at the very least know the name of everyone who's a member of his church.
Yeah, well, my perspective is that a church should have there should be visible unity between members, between the different churches, between Christians, and there should be some hierarchy within the clergy, but not going as far as the Catholic Church, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is coming from I'm an Anglican, so we have bishops, but we don't think they're anointed from God.
Well, like I said, I'm a big fan of the small local church. I mean, maybe a part of a denomination with like, kind of very loose ties to a denomination, but I just don't like centralized power in general.
Yeah.
I'm not completely opposed to it. I'm not autistic about it. Like, oh, a big denomination violates the NAP or something. But just in general, I think decentralizing power usually works out better. Because otherwise, you get some jackass like McDonald.
True. But I mean, in my experience, like from what I understand, that has only happened within like the very, how you say, that has happened within like the, like how you say, the, like there are three types of churches. There's like the Catholic Church, obviously, where you have like extreme abuse of power, and there's like churches that are very independent, like for example, even an example of a pastor that's even worse than McDonald is probably Steven Anderson, if you heard of him. And
Yes.
he has, yeah, and he runs like a small church all by himself, and he has no there's nobody holding him accountable. But
Wait,
obviously,
no, Steven Anderson's the one that goes on YouTube bitching about gays, right?
well, not just that, like
I was thinking of Mark Driscoll. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about how Steven Anderson really runs his church. I'm not totally on board with the guy. I mean, every once in a while I like his sermons, but I get the impression there's a bit too much of a cult of personality around there. I mean, a pastor needs to have he needs to be balanced against strong elders.
yeah,
Church.
yeah, exactly. Like there should be a senior pastor, and like a obviously not somebody that has as much of a cult personality as what's the guy's name? Something McDonald.
James McDonald.
Yeah, obviously not as much power as James McDonald.
Well, he had an elder board, but based on all accounts, he ran roughshod over the elder board. I mean, like I think one of the elders was his son, Luke, or stuff like that. It was,
Yeah, nepotism. That's
he
another
was
problem.
all about I am the Senate when it came to the elder board. So
yeah, like apparently the Catholic Church stopped allowing priests to be married in order to avoid the problem of nepotism.
well, seems like they've ended up with a whole different problem.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I had to talk about this tonight. We're going to be definitely talking about it a lot more Saturday, and I imagine I'm going to be on this topic for a while. I'm actually going to try and reach out to some people, see if I can get some people on to discuss this. See, I don't want this getting swept under the rug again. I don't want. This is something that happens in these. There are these types of people, the James McDonalds of the world. They want to take advantage of very good instincts in Christians to continue pulling their shenanigans. Like generally, Christians should be deferential to their leadership in the church. Sure. Generally, Christians should want to avoid gossip, should want to avoid digging up dirt on people, that sort of thing. Sure. We don't all want to be digging in each other's closets. We all have skeletons in there. Sure. But only to a point, okay? And especially with leadership, you need transparency. You need leaders that understand loyal opposition, that aren't going to flip out if you question them, okay? That aren't going to just strong arm everything. That's not how we should be running things. All right.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
The Senate will decide your fate.
I am the Senate.
Not
I am the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I am the elder board. Yeah, you can't be having that. All right. And I don't know, is his fucking radio show even still up? That's actually an interesting question. Let's wander our way to jamesmcdonald.org, I believe it is. .org? Because his show is called Walk in the Word.
IC.com.
.com. It is .com. Although jamesmcdonald.org took me right to jamesmcdonald.com, so that's interesting. He apparently bought both things. Oh. Well, let's go to this is laid out a little different. We don't have the radio show anymore on here. Maybe the radio show's gone with all this.
Maybe it's because I hovered over teaching, and under it there's listen. So and there's podcasts. So
well, this used to be a half-an-hour radio show that would end up on Christian radio.
Yeah, I found the radio show. I think it's
listen.
It's a URL /radio. I'm posting it in the.
Well, this
chat.
is interesting. It seems that the most recent episode up on the site is from January 19th. And remember, this is was a 5-day-a-week radio show. I believe somebody's show's been canceled.
Yeah. Well, the last 2 episodes are appropriately named "Replacing a Complaining Attitude."
Man. Walking the Word closed due to AIDS. How about that? Contact. Oh yeah, perhaps I might throw you an email. Well, let's go over to the Twitter machine. See what James McDonald's been tweeting lately, shall we? Alrighty. So, on Twitter, James McDonald's most recent tweet is on January 8th. Well, somebody has the good sense to keep his head down. Hint, hint to a certain other bald motherfucker. Let's see if I can find Luke McDonald, the dipshit that used to fucking. No, I don't think the thing that says the less fucks you give is the Luke McDonald I'm looking for. I'm not seeing. Here we go, Luke McDonald. And Luke McDonald's last tweet was on January 9th. Luke, why don't you here? I'm gonna throw you a link.
James McDonald's last tweet was January 8th.
Yep. All right, so I'm throwing you a link to Luke McDonald's Twitter. Why don't you go ahead and tweet at him from the Bechtloff podcast and ask if he's still interested. All right, here's what you want to tweet. Hey, Luke, still interested in coming on my podcast? I hear there's been recent developments. LOL. Never let it be said I'm not a dick, guys. I never claimed.
Maybe you should drop the LLL.
Nah.
There's a message or a tweet?
Tweet at him. Actually, you know what? Drop the LOL. Yeah, that's fine. Let's not be too dickish. Well, that is interesting. That's interesting. So, now I recently retweeted the elephant's debt tweet. Some other interesting things here. Julie Roars says, I just received word from Carol Pipes, communication director at Lifeway, that Lifeway is pulling all its books by James McDonald off the shelf and ceasing publication of any of McDonald's books / material. This is sad but appropriate. I need to see if I can get a hold of her.
You know, those evangelicals don't play around.
Yeah, you notice Catholics how we didn't just move him to another church? Just saying.
Well, it is kind of the way the Protestant churches are kind of, whether we like it or not, is more revolved around the pastor. So if the pastor goes, you can't really ignore that.
I know. I was.
But still, it does
Still,
speak volumes to the fact that, yeah, we reported this and we're
yeah,
taking
he's
care of
being
this
dealt
now.
with, is the point.
Yes.
Um,
I was recently directed to a bunch of interviews of pastors who have been, like Southern Baptists who have abused people, and I noticed that all the interviews are happening in prison cells. Funny how that works.
yeah, isn't that something? It's almost like the point I was making wasn't complaining about the fact that it happens, complaining about how you deal with it.
The difference between the Catholic Church and the Evangelical Church is one of them is the fact that in the Evangelical Church, everything is so transparent because every big pastor has a media ministry that's held accountable by the evangelical parachurch media. And if they do anything that that's like brings shame upon the evangelical community quickly gets rid of him. They quickly get rid of him.
I will say this, though. We do have a problem with James McDonald was allowed to fester for way too long. And the reason being, now look, he wasn't doing anything as monstrous as what, he wasn't diddling little boys, okay? But this sort of shit was allowed to fester for too long because there is, and this is not just evangelicals, it's not even Catholics, although I think Catholics are much worse at it. There's too much deference to the leadership. Okay? You need to hold your leadership accountable. You need to know that they are held accountable. And this nonsense of like, oh, we don't want to gossip and stuff like that. No. Okay? Sometimes things need to be just aired out there. I get it. We all have our faults. We all have our sins. I'm not saying we all need to air out our dirty laundry. But with the leadership, it's different. Okay, and when there's things going on, when there's falling outs, when there's feuds, whatever, okay, we need to, when you try to squash it, you make it nothing but rumors and gossip. Okay, you need to air it out. You need to have it out in the open. And something like James McDonald was allowed to fester for too long because everybody who would speak up got guilt tripped into, oh, don't be disloyal, and what about my unity and all this other gay shit. So a problem didn't get dealt with.
If James McDonald just simply dropped an F-bomb on the hot mic, it wouldn't have been as big of a problem, but like he went that somewhere where nobody should have went, even entertaining the idea of framing someone for child pornography, let alone
yeah, look, if
you have to
if he was just yelling at this guy and he was like this fucking cocksucker, I mean, I would think it wouldn't speak well of this high and righteous man. I would think it would be the mask slipping a little bit, but it wouldn't be like, holy shit. I mean, let's frame him for child porn. That's a nigga what moment right there.
Okay. Like, how are you going to frame someone for child porn without getting a hold of child porn yourself?
That's exactly my point. Like, I would rather have heard that James McDonald was like, I want to hire a hitman and kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have rather that be less upset about that. Because, yeah, how do you frame someone with child porn except getting it yourself?
Exactly.
What, do you know where to get it? What's going on here, James?
And
you know
in order
guy?
to get
What do
it,
you?
wouldn't you want to look?
I mean,
Wouldn't
he
you
does
need
do
to
those
look?
interfaith things with Catholics, so maybe he does know a guy.
Well, yeah. And another thing is that, like, how do you get child porn without looking at it? And who would want to look at child porn? Even like, I- like
Dude,
there is porn.
if I
Yeah,
accidentally fucking found child porn, I would throw my laptop away. Like, I'd go
yeah,
outside
exactly.
and burn it. Okay, I'd be like, this is
Yeah,
like, I guess I gotta go. I guess I gotta pull the credit card out and get a new laptop and start paying that off because I'm not. No, this has got to go. It can't be in the house anymore. I'd be
yeah,
waving a cross around. Leave this house, demon.
yeah, yeah, exactly. There is porn out there that I won't will never masturbate to, that I find disgusting, but it's nowhere near the same level as like child pornography. It's not just like, it's one thing for pornography to be disgusting. It's another thing to have pornography where little children are victimized. Like, how are you gonna be the same again after seeing that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna post this on. I'm just gonna frame him for this. Like, what? You're gonna do what now?
Actually, the best one, as far as threats that preachers have made against other preachers, is when Benny Hinn said he wished he had a Holy Ghost machine gun so he could blow John MacArthur's head off. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember ever hearing that. But then again, I don't listen to fucking Benny Hinn. Man, that guy's a snake oil salesman if ever there was one.
Yeah. Do you want me to find the footage?
Nah, I just because I'm probably gonna wrap this up here soon.
Okay.
But yeah. So this is gonna be kind of our top story for a while, guys. So I guess strap in. I know this isn't as fun as the last top story we had for a while, but I feel like it needs covered. I'm going to try and dig up more on this. I'm going to try and get in touch with people. Maybe I could score an interview or something with some of the people around this. But yeah, this is, I mean, I hate to say I told you, or is it Razorfist likes to say? I hate to say I told you so, except I don't, and I did. I called it on this guy.
Oh, hold on a second. I'll get the clip.
Fuck you. I was right. There you go. Oh, I didn't want to listen to me because I like to say fuck. I'm this foul mouthed, nerd guy. Well, guess what? I was right. All right. I was right. Yeah. And again, and I hate to say this because I realize, again, there was a certain other bald motherfucker that I didn't see through when I should have sooner. But how did more people not see through this guy? Okay, the guy thinks wolves are demons. How did more people not see through this idiot?
Well, to be fair, like certain Christians have, like good Christians have superstitions regarding certain animals such as snakes.
Like I said, somebody in there says it's the dark side of mistaking manners for morality. I will always love Undertow for coining that phrase on here. Hell, I didn't even get to
you. I was right. Fuck you. I was right. Fuck you. I was right. Fuck.
Exactly. I didn't even get to a Breakpoint article I wanted to cover. Maybe we'll cover that Wednesday. But another thing, or not Wednesday, Saturday. Another thing I want to cover Saturday is if you listen to the show a while back, and I think it might even have been on the Landshark channel, but I had an episode called A Bad Case of Vertigo, a Saturday episode, and we talked about the new Vertigo comics they were putting out, and there was one about Jesus meeting a Superman-like character or something. Well, that actually got canceled before it ever shipped. Like DC has there was enough actual blowback on that blasphemous pile of cringy fake edgy shit that it got canceled. And now the SJWs over at Comic Book Resources are whining like, oh, but what about my free speech? Yeah, eat a dick, guys. That's what. All right. So we'll be covering that Saturday too. We're mostly done with the shenanigans involving the pagan cult. So we have a parody song video coming up. Which really we're only doing because it what is that? Anyways, really we're only doing that because it was already in production by the time all this wrapped up, and it's just too good not to anyways, damn, that's kind of cool. I don't know what that's all about.
I just found it randomly on Pinterest, and there's a whole like listing of them.
Yeah, that was kind of distracting me a little bit. So, folks, if you enjoy the show, you enjoy the content I put out, do consider hang on a sec. But do consider supporting the show. We got Steve's Jerky, fantastic sponsor. There's also the PayPal, the Patreon, and the Amazon wishlist, folks. And I'm just saying, ahead of the curve here. All right, ahead of the curve. What was it? Close to 5 years ago. Now probably I was calling it. So. All right, folks. Like I said, if you enjoy the show, do consider supporting it. And that's about all we got for today. Tonight. I want to thank you all for listening. And Bechtloff out.